This video, I'm going to show you how to paint waves really quickly. I'm making long panels of waves to go with the ship that I built out of cardboard. I needed 3 long panels of shallow waves to sit beneath the ship. I use cardboard because it's a free material. It's easy to get. These waves are not going to win any awards. They're not for fine art painting. They're just going to be used as a prop. When you're pressed for time and you have so many things to do like I do, and you have little time to get it done, I try to develop the quickest way possible to get the task finished. So I thought I'd share that with you, because maybe you might have need to make some waves. So let's make waves. All right, these are my paints. I have white and I have light blue. I don't know if you can tell. I mixed this color with white to get a light blue. And then I'm calling this my medium color, and then my darker color. So basically 3 shades of blue and white. The white is my highlight. The dark blue is my deeper shadows. And the medium blue are the highlights in the shadows. And the light blue, darker areas in the highlight area, which is also the color of the base of the board when I started. I could have started with a dark, and that would have been fine too, but I did start with my medium color. This is just cardboard, and cut scallops in the top, and then painted it one solid color. I had somebody else do that part, and now I'm just finishing up the details. My brushes that I'm using, and you could use a flat, but I'm using a round, and a 2-inch angle, which is a great brush for quick coverage. That's it. That's all the supplies. Well, of course, my water jar. And I try not to keep my brushes sitting in the water too long because that's not good for the brushes. Oh yes, must have a stirring stick and a rag. Whenever I change colors, I will wash my brush and get the excess water off. And since it's all shades of blue anyways, I don't have to have an absolutely clean brush just yet. I can go right into whatever color I decide to use. Whenever my painting session is finished, I will wash my brushes thoroughly. But when I'm switching from one color to the other, I don't necessarily have to wash my brush completely. So it may sit in the water just a little bit, and I kind of push down to get most of the paint out of it. And it's really wet when I pull it out, so I have to go to the rag to dry it off, and then I could go to a new color. To begin, I choose my darkest blue, the shadow color. My highlights will be on the left, and the shadow side of the waves will be on the right. Using my 2-inch wide angle brush, I paint almost diagonal stripes. I start on the right side of the wave. Don't judge it yet. I know it looks like stripes, but trust me, I'm showing you a systematic way to paint the waves, so you don't get lost. When I change my paint color, I wipe off the excess water. Too much water will cause the cardboard to bend. I'm painting with acrylic paint, straight paint. You may want to give a few moments for the dark blue stripes to dry before the next step. Acrylic paint does dry fairly quickly, especially if you have fans running, which I do. For the next color, I choose the lightest blue. I will begin picking out the peaks of the wave or the tops of the waves on the left side. I only paint on the left side of the wave because that's where the light's coming from. I want to have 3 layers of waves. This is where my diagonal stripe helps me. Each wave below staggers almost to the center of the above waves. You know how bricks are laid? The next row starts halfway between the last full brick. The highlight will fall in the middle medium blue background. Observe that I leave a little gap between the rows of waves. Remember, water moves up and down. I look to my last wave and think through the movement of the water, the up and down, the swooping motion of the wave pattern. Next, I grab the medium blue and I blend it into the edge of the darker value. Once the main colors are in their patterns, I switch to my smaller brush, a number 9 round. You could use something smaller, but I want to paint quickly, so I use bigger brushes. But this time with white paint, making the tops of the wave much brighter. Just 2 to 4 strokes. At this point, I kind of bounce around between the different shades of blue until I get the waves looking how I want them to be. This is where it's good to just put on some music. I like to listen to classical music when I paint. my cat. It wouldn't be a Debra Carmona video if a cat doesn't make herself known. She likes to see everything I do, and especially gets right in the middle of it. And usually gets right in the middle of it. I wonder if she makes it her duty to get into the camera shot on purpose. She seems to be very aware of the camera. I am using thin layers of paint at this point in very select areas, so most of the paint is dry. But she did get some blue paint on one of her whiskers, a spot on her tail, and some on one of the pads of her feet. No, she didn't leave any blue paw prints around the house, nor did she mess up my painting. This is not the first time she's gotten paint on herself. I hope you found this video / tutorial helpful. Alright, this panel is dry, folded up. It's ready to be transferred to the church. But I have another one that I have to do. And I do want to start with just cardboard. I do want to start on this end. Away. My starting place. And I gotta do it all over again. But now that I got the system down and order of procedure, I can get it done really quick. This is like one of the last things I have to do to get ready for Vacation Bible School.